In 1988, a middle-aged man named Oh Dae-su finds himself in trouble on his daughter's birthday, arrested for public intoxication and disorderly behavior. His friend, Ju-won, bails him out, and Dae-su makes a call to his daughter to tell her he will be home soon. However, before he can return, he mysteriously disappears, leaving behind only the present meant for her. Dae-su awakens in a strange environment, a windowless hotel room that becomes his prison. He has no idea who has captured him or why. He is fed through a trapdoor and subjected to regular gassing whenever his captors groom him or clean his room. The television is his sole connection to the outside world. Through this TV, he learns the devastating news that his wife, Kim Ja-hyun, has been murdered, and the evidence, his blood and fingerprints, puts him as the prime suspect. Isolated and confused, Dae-su begins to suffer from hallucinations. As the months turn into years, he spirals deeper into madness, attempting suicide multiple times, only to be revived by his captors. Growing increasingly frustrated and desperate, Dae-su starts a journal to list potential enemies who might hold a grudge against him. It takes a lot of effort to make videos like this. Can you please subscribe this channel, because at the end you will forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. He also trains himself physically, hoping to turn the tables on his captors someday. After about 6 years, he begins an elaborate escape plan, using a metal chopstick to dig a hole through the wall. Over the years, he meticulously removes bricks until he can feel the rain on his hand, a small taste of freedom. Yet, before he can make his escape, he is rendered unconscious by sleeping gas. During his forced slumber, a woman enters his room and hypnotizes him. After enduring 15 years of captivity, he suddenly finds himself outside, emerging from a suitcase. He is wearing a new suit and watch, and alongside him are his journals. The shock of daylight is overwhelming, but his focus sharpens as he notices another man sitting on a nearby ledge, holding a dog. This man tells Dae-su not to stop him from jumping. Seeing another human being for the first time in so long, Dae-su takes the man's hand and holds it to his face, savoring the moment. The man, contemplating his own fate, asks, "Even though I'm no better than a beast, don't I have the right to live?" Dae-su, echoing the sentiment, smiles and repeats the question. As the man is about to let go and fall, Dae-su grabs him by the necktie, insisting he listen to his story before making any decisions. After sharing his ordeal, Dae-su walks away, leaving the man to his fate. As Dae-su departs, the man jumps to his death, landing on a car below. Now free, Dae-su wanders the city, contemplating his next move. He avoids contacting any relatives or friends, aware that he is still wanted for his wife's murder. While navigating the urban landscape, he encounters a group of young men and decides to test his fighting skills, honed during his captivity. Using only his fists, he defeats them, reaffirming his readiness to face whatever comes next. Sitting outside a seafood restaurant, a homeless man approaches him, handing over a cell phone and a wallet stuffed with money. The man advises Dae-su not to ask questions, claiming ignorance of any details. With newfound resources, Dae-su enters a sushi bar, craving something alive to eat. He recognizes the server from a TV cooking competition. As he receives a live octopus, his phone rings. The caller taunts him, asking if he likes his new suit. Dae-su demands answers about his incarceration, trying to guess the identity of his captor. The mysterious voice on the other end deflects, urging him to find him quickly before hanging up. After ending the call, Dae-su devours the octopus whole, collapsing soon after. He regains consciousness in the server's apartment, recovering from a fever. The server, introducing herself as Mi-do, explains that her medicine was effective. As Dae-su heads to the bathroom, Mi-do warns him not to follow her, brandishing a knife. Ignoring her, Dae-su advances, attempting to force himself on her, but Mi-do defends herself by striking him with the knife's handle. Despite the confrontation, Mi-do stops him from leaving, expressing interest in him but insisting they wait until she is ready. Determined to find his estranged daughter, Dae-su enlists Mi-do's help. They discover that a Swedish couple has adopted her. Facing this new reality, Dae-su shifts his focus to finding the man responsible for his abduction. One day, Midu receives an online message from someone using the ID Evergreen asking about the Count of Monte Cristo. Dae-su investigates, and Evergreen taunts him about his bigger prison. Midu reveals that she has been chatting with Evergreen about sushi. Determined to uncover the truth, Dae-su tracks down the restaurant that delivered his prison meal. He follows a delivery man to the building where he was held and assaults a guard with a hammer, learning that the facility is run by a criminal organization specializing in incarcerating people for a fee. Dae-su tortures the operation's head, Mr. Park, pulling out his teeth for information. Mr. Park admits he never met the client but recorded the phone call. Armed with this recording, Dae-su attempts to leave, confronting a mob of men. Despite being outnumbered and stabbed, he fights his way out with sheer determination. Once outside, Dae-su collapses, pulling out the knife. A passerby helps him into a taxi, revealing himself as the orchestrator of Dae-su's imprisonment by calling him by name. Helpless due to his injuries, Dae-su can only watch as the taxi drives off. Back at his temporary home, he listens to the recording, which reveals details about his lengthy incarceration and the drugs used to potentially induce schizophrenia. When Mr. Park questions the client's motives, the client replies that Dae-su talks too much. The following day, Dae-su visits Ju-won, hoping he can identify the voice on the recording. Although Ju-won cannot, he assists Dae-su in locating Evergreen online. Evergreen continues to mock Dae-su, noting that the statute of limitations has expired. Frustrated, Dae-su returns to Midu's apartment, desperate for information about Evergreen. As he pressures her, Ju-won calls with a breakthrough, revealing that Evergreen is Su Dia, who lives across the street. Dae-su rushes to confront Evergreen and his bodyguard, Mr. Han. Evergreen threatens to kill Midu in 5 days unless Dae-su uncovers his motive, promising to end his own life if Dae-su succeeds. In a desperate attempt, Dae-su attacks Evergreen, but Mr. Han intervenes. Evergreen warns that killing him will prevent Dae-su from ever learning the truth, revealing he has a pacemaker he can deactivate. As Evergreen departs, he encourages Dae-su to seek vengeance, reminding him of Midu's vulnerable state. Dae-su rushes back, finding Mr. Park and his goons abusing Midu. Overpowered, Dae-su is restrained while Mr. Park attempts to torture him. A phone call interrupts, and Mr. Han arrives, offering Mr. Park money to leave Dae-su unharmed. After threatening Mr. Park, Dae-su and Midu escape. On their way to a motel, Midu sings, indicating her readiness for intimacy. After their encounter, sleeping gas fills the room. Evergreen leaves a package containing Mr. Park's severed hand. Realizing they're being monitored, Dae-su seeks out the bug. And Midu go to Ju-won's internet cafe, where they find a crucial piece of information. Here, Dae-su uncovers the identity of their tormentor, Evergreen. The mysterious figure behind all this pain is actually Lee Woo-jin, a former classmate. He calls Ju-won, hoping for more details, but when he asks about a girl named Suwa, Ju-won explains she was known for being promiscuous. At that very moment, Woo-jin, who has been listening in, kills Ju-won. The truth is revealed: Suwa was Woo-jin's sister, and this is why he has been seeking revenge against Dae-su. The next day, Dae-su confronts Mr. Park again. Mr. Park, now missing one hand, seems to be a shadow of his former self. Dae-su demands answers, and Mr. Park confesses he had drugged Dae-su's water to implant hypnosis and erase parts of his memory. He also reveals that he has been protecting Midu all along, though it is unclear exactly why. This is a turning point for Dae-su. He begins to realize that everything he thought he knew about the past has been manipulated. A classmate then tells Dae-su about Ju-won's role in spreading rumors about Suwa. The pieces start to fall into place. Dae-su recalls a moment from his past when he witnessed Woo-jin and Suwa in an intimate moment. He had innocently shared this information with Ju-won, who then spread the gossip. The rumors about Suwa and the way they were handled were the beginning of her destruction. As Dae-su connects the dots, he accuses Woo-jin of using hypnosis to erase his memory. But Woo-jin coldly responds, revealing that it wasn't hypnosis, it was simply that Dae-su had forgotten certain things because they didn't concern him. Woo-jin explains that after Dae-su left, rumors of Suwa's pregnancy began to spread. Suwa, devastated and believing she was carrying Dae-su's child, blamed him for the gossip. This moment is pivotal because it shows how Dae-su's past actions he didn't even remember, destroyed Suwa's life. Rage consumes Dae-su as he accuses Woo-jin of killing his sister to cover up their incestuous relationship. Woo-jin, however, denies this, explaining that the real reason he is punishing Dae-su is that Dae-su caused Suwa's downfall. Woo-jin reveals how he orchestrated Dae-su and Mi-doo's meeting using hypnosis, manipulating both of their lives to fulfill his revenge. In a shocking twist, Woo-jin shows Dae-su photos of his own family, his wife and child, and Dae-su realizes, with horror, that Mi-doo is his daughter. Overcome with grief and anger, Dae-su tries to attack Woo-jin, but Mr. Han, a loyal ally to Woo-jin, stops him. Despite being injured, Dae-su manages to hurt Mr. Han, but Woo-jin, now enraged, orders Mr. Han's death. Woo-jin then reveals that Mr. Park is still working for him. At this point, Dae-su realizes the full extent of the manipulation he has been under. Back at Mr. Park's building, Mi-doo is handed a gift box. Dae-su, desperate to protect her, urges her not to open it, fearing it contains the truth about their twisted relationship. In his final attempt to stop Woo-jin from exposing the truth to Mi-doo, Dae-su pleads with him. In a moment of utter desperation, Dae-su kneels before Woo-jin, barking like a dog in submission. He then cuts off his own tongue, symbolizing his willingness to endure any pain to keep Mi-doo from learning the truth. Moved by Dae-su's actions, Woo-jin agrees not to reveal the truth to Mi-doo and orders Mr. Park to keep the box closed. But Woo-jin doesn't stop there. He gives Dae-su a pacemaker remote, explaining that when pressed, it will play a recording of Dae-su and Mi-doo's intimate encounter. As Dae-su listens to it, he is horrified by the realization of the full extent of their relationship. Woo-jin, now reflecting on the past, rides an elevator, haunted by the memory of Suwa's death. Her last words to him were a plea to let go of the past. As the elevator doors open, Woo-jin shoots himself, ending his life in the wake of his revenge. Now alone, Dae-su writes a letter to a hypnotist, asking for help in erasing his memories. At first, the hypnotist refuses, but after reading Dae-su's heartfelt plea, even though I'm no more than a beast, don't I have the right to live? He agrees to perform the procedure. The hypnotist warns Dae-su that the process is risky and may cause irreversible damage to his mind, but Dae-su insists on going through with it. Dae-su undergoes hypnosis, and in doing so, his mind is split into two distinct personalities, one that is unaware of Mi-doo and the other, a monster, keeping the dark secret of their relationship. This split is permanent, and as Dae-su lives on, his mind will age with each step, forever burdened by the truth. Mi-doo approaches, offering him warmth and confessing her love for him. Dae-su smiles briefly, but his smile quickly fades into sorrow. As they embrace, Dae-su is overcome by grief, his